Welcome to Life on Fire with Brody and Deidre Haight.
Living a life fully alive. And we're actually sitting here in our new apartment in Quebec. We made it. Yeah.
You were very patient.
It's so beautiful. I am so thankful. To me, this is such a gift, just the area and these beautiful windows that bring in so much light. We're just sitting in front of one.
Yeah, it's like a treehouse.
I feel like, we're on the top floor.
And if you guys are wondering why we moved to Quebec and you haven't been following along our journey, feel free to watch the podcast right before this where we share why we came here.
Yeah, how did God bring us to this decision? And I'm so thankful. So today we want to talk to you about the last race that Brody just did. Some of you might have seen it on social media if you follow us there. We were hashtagging running for the one, and Brody used it as a fundraising initiative for Rising Angels organization, which is my mom's organization, and they exist to mentor women who have exited prostitution and human trafficking, because that's just so important to have support as they come. They're out of that, but how do they live in this world now that's so different, and to process the trauma? So I was just so really heart. You touched my heart that you were like, you know what, I'm going to run and I'm going to use my run as a way to raise funds for this organization.
And I wanted to do that for a while.
It's true.
I just felt like you gave me the go ahead.
It was the right timing. And you want to raise funds so that mentorship can continue for these women. Because just like us in the ministry that we do, we are able to do what we do because of monthly partners and all of you that come alongside and bless us to do what we do. And Rising Angels is the same. They exist because people are generous and you are amazing and you've come alongside and said, yes, I want to support what you're doing.
And I know everybody out there that has given, maybe you're listening to this, maybe you're not. I know you don't always get to see what actually is happening in Rising Angels, but I have. I have seen parts of the inner workings, which is why my heart just felt like this. People need to know about Rising Angels. This is an incredible organization. They're on the front lines in this battle, I guess, against human trafficking in Canada. And there's not many other organizations doing this. And your mom and you and the other girls have really put themselves out there to share about it, to educate, to do all these incredible things. And I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah, that's another part of Rising Angel is my mom is a public speaker, and she does trainings, and she shares about understanding the women's mindset and just educates frontline workers that are willing to listen for them to have understanding, because this deep trauma is not just understood automatically by others. So it's so important. And that makes me think, Brody, that, before we go into that and the training and how it impacted you, I just wanted to say for this podcast that we are going to be talking about prostitution and human trafficking, and that is a heavier topic. It is very important for us to actually talk about it together, but just put a trigger warning out there for you that this is a sensitive kind of topic and there may be some hard things that we say. So you can decide whether you're in the mind space right now to listen, or if you need to come back later, or maybe it's not for you today.
Yeah.
So Brody, for you and talking about the training, I know that when we were dating, you went to the Mending Broken Wings training that Mom created. How did that impact you?
Well, coming from the lifestyle that was similar to your mom, like addiction, and your mom used addiction to cope with a lot of the trauma, right? We had a lot of similarities in our stories, different, but a lot of similarities. And I came from this dark world where I kind of understood some of these things, but your mom opened up a lot more to the depths of human trafficking and how the pimps work, how the luring works, the deception.
Yeah.
And it was really wow. I also seen how God saved me from even going deeper in darkness when I was in my own addiction. And then the survivors that shared their stories, they were all different.
Yeah.
Because there's always so many different ways that this operates. And some of them were I knew your mom's story is shocking, but these were this is just everyday, it could have been everyday people, right? That this could happen to.
Any of us.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
When you were saying like the inner workings and that not all the things are able to be seen, it's so true because mom is protective of the women to not re-traumatize them, to not re-victimize them. So you won't always get the opportunity to hear these women's stories or testimonials because mom's not going to force them to speak just for anything. So that's why it's just having an understanding of what does the organization do, and then even praying like, God, is this an area in my heart that you want me to be generous or to give, and to trust that God will do the work, because it's just a different kind of area that needs a lot of sensitivity and care in it. But for you being able at that point, because mom would have made sure the women were okay to share, hearing some of their stories really did impact you, and hearing.
Well, it changed my way that I even view women.
Yeah.
Like through a process, a lot more of my story and my journey, but it just gave me so much empathy and compassion. It's like when you hear an addict story and then you understand how they got to that point. It just opened my eyes. Like, yeah, it was I encourage, even if you're not an outreach worker or frontline worker, I just encourage everybody to take one of these trainings because you share so much about human trafficking and people are like, this happens in Canada. Yes, it happens in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And
you, like you said in the past, like getting to know more of my story and some of the trauma of that, and getting to know my mom, because she's your mother-in-law now. That's just impacted you too, because then you have personal relationship with us and you have love for us and you have care, and it's just so close to home.
Yeah. Well, and it led me to my personal repentance too. Like it led me deeper in surrendering things of my heart. So it's another reason I think this is impactful for men and women to listen to, so you can understand how this operates. Like, for instance, pornography.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that you're watching could potentially be human trafficked, or they could have been groomed into that situation. They might think, oh, I chose to do this, but no, they haven't actually chose. They've been deceived into it.
It's very interweaved and very just overlapping, and you can't like really separate this sexual exploitation, this industry, and say, oh, this is really good and they're choosing and this is not. There is, Brody's saying, like there's a lot of grooming that happens and trauma that even happens to many of the women, if not all. Many of them have already been abused at a young age.
Which makes them vulnerable to it.
Yep. And just what's normal to them.
And normal in society.
What's become familiar.
Like pornography, trafficking. Even before in my old life, I was somewhat involved on the smaller levels, and I didn't even understand because it was so normal. Like prostitution was in the world of the buying of sex is normalized. Sexuality is normalized. Pornography is normalized. So it's like, it's just something you do in the world. It seems. So you don't know any other way of thinking.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even, you wouldn't, if you didn't know the term human trafficking, you would just think it's like going to a movie.
Or like you're saying, a lot of people just think it doesn't happen here in Canada.
Yeah.
And it very much does. It might look maybe a little bit different than we expected, but it does happen here.
Like, for instance, if somebody's going to like a massage parlor, or they're going to an apartment where they look to get a prostitute online, or a sex worker, whatever term you want to use, you would think they're choosing to make that choice, but behind the scenes, they're being trafficked.
Oh, like the woman is choosing.
The woman, yes. So a lot of the times, like you would think, oh, they want to be here, right?
Yeah, yeah. I often think it's like lots of acting involved, that they pretend they want to be there because it's what they have to do. And like that being said is I know not every woman that is a part of that does have a trafficker or a pimp, but many of them do and can. And that's something to be aware of. And even if you were to ask somebody outright, doesn't mean they're going to tell you the truth of it.
But that's where this training comes in, and it really teaches you all of the kind of the things that we're talking about right now.
The Mending Broken Wings training.
Yeah. So go take the training. And especially, I always say, if you have kids, definitely take the training, because a lot of trafficking starts in grade school.
Online now is just so crazy dangerous.
Yeah.
but having awareness is so helpful. So that's another thing that Rising Angels offers is my mom is a public speaker, and you can check out risingangels.net if you would want her to come and speak. You can find out the fees for that and what is provided for that, or even maybe reaching out to them to do a training for, I've seen like nurses come on, different frontline workers, police officers, different things. So if you're interested in that, you can request what that would look like, setting up a training or speaking.
And your mom's even like during the process of doing these trainings and stuff, she's even got legalization and certain things in Canada at times, hasn't she?
She has fought for different things.
Yeah, she's fought for different things like rights and
different bills and stuff being passed. Like she'd talk out against things or fight for it because she knows the effects that prostitution has had on her own life.
And many people come against her. She's bold as a lion.
Yeah, a lot of people will argue her because of the way that we've been trained or taught to think as we were talking about the sex industry. So I just want to chat with you about the race, Brody, and you were running for the one, raising funds for Rising Angels so that mentorship can continue. The big goal is $30,000. I think at this point we have raised $12,500, which is amazing. And we've extended the...
Yeah, we have about 18 days left.
Yeah, we didn't just do it at the end of the race. We knew we wanted more time for momentum and to be sharing. So if you haven't given already, then consider giving. So I want to talk about this race. So this race was you've done races before. And this one was interesting because before this race, like a month before or a few weeks, you had a race. How long was it?
100 miles. So a month before this race, I did 160 kilometers called Sulphur Springs.
Okay, yeah.
Which was the one that I trained for multiple months building up to because I had a goal of doing a race under 24 hours.
Okay, yeah. And you did amazing. But this is the first time you've done kind of back-to-back races.
Yes. So this one was like kind of seeing what it was capable.
And it was pretty crazy because this second race was extremely challenging. The second race in this back-to-back was like the harder one.
Yeah, I think the first one maybe would have been better.
If it flipped.
I was more well-trained. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you need recovery in between races.
Yeah. So that was kind of the test to see the recovery going into the next. And I noticed, well, I rested for a week after the race. I felt okay, but I went for a long run to test out my legs and I sprained my ankle just running kind of down a straightaway. My tendons weren't strong enough. They still needed a bit more recovery. And then I had to rest a lot longer. So I felt like that recovery took about 3 weeks total.
So you sprained your ankle like
about
after
a week
the race?
Yeah, after the race, after the first 100 mile.
And then also you sprained your ankle in this race.
In this race, yes.
So I guess the ankle was weaker.
It was weaker from the last race, yeah. I've never actually sprained my ankle before while running. But yeah, from the speed of my last workout, running a lot faster, the impact was far greater. So my ankles, my tendons, the fascia on the bottom of my feet, I kept having slight problems where the healing was taking longer. But as you saw, I was still doing a lot of biking and other types of cardio, Stairmaster. I was doing the hot saunas, but I wasn't doing as much running.
Hello, if you are feeling encouraged or inspired, we want to invite you to become a monthly partner with us. The information is going to be in the description below. We just want to continue to love God and love people in whatever way we can. Enjoy listening. Just trying to prepare yourself for this very challenging race.
I was trying to keep the impact as low as possible and save that for the race because this race was a mountain race. And it was 6,000 meters of elevation. I think it was like 4 or 5, maybe 5 mountains in total.
I think it was 5 peaks. It said,
5 peaks.
Or summits. I don't know the language, which is pretty crazy.
I never even looked into it much. I just showed up.
My goodness. Brody he watches a video and then he's like, this looks exciting.
Yeah, I just thought this looks awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Brody. Okay, so this one was different. First of all, it was crazy hard. But it started at nighttime and none of your other races have started at night.
No, so that really switched it up also. It started at 10 o'clock.
I feel like that would fatigue you even more because the other one started very early in the morning that you could have a night's rest.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of times before races, you don't sleep well, but you start at like, I don't know, 5 or 6 in the morning, the other ones. So then you have a whole day where your body's used to being in daylight and it's awake. And then you could be more fatigued at nighttime when you're running through when you'd be sleeping. But this time, you just start when you would be sleeping.
Yeah. And I was so excited the whole day running around, getting stuff and getting prepared that I couldn't have a nap.
Yeah.
And I was anticipating this like awesome race. So it's like, yeah, you kind of were wound up all day waiting for the big start line.
So my mind works like this. I parallel things. I see like analogies and things. And I was so curious and intrigued that out of all the races, the one race that you're choosing to do to raise funds to help women who have exited prostitution and human trafficking starts in the evening. And the reason why was so interesting to me is I know my mom's schedule was messed up. It was totally off what a normal schedule would necessarily be. And by normal, I just mean like you're awake during the day and you sleep at nighttime. But she worked in massage parlors and she would be working all night. And then I know when usually I'd be getting ready for school in the morning, she'd be sleeping still. So I thought that was a very interesting parallel that you begin this race in the dark and in the nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
So it threw off your schedule.
Yeah, my whole schedule was, I was excited, but I started getting tired.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, right? Like I usually would. So it kind of gave you an extra night to stay up, really.
They made it extra challenging.
Yeah, it really added more fatigue.
Yeah. And then we were like following you on this little GPS map thing. And we're like, okay, he's going. And you could see the speed and everything else. And you could see you on the little like mountain, your little dot like going. And then I remember waking up because you started on a Saturday night.
No, I started Friday.
A Friday night?
Yeah.
And then I woke up the next day and you called me at like 6 a.m. because you'd sprained your ankle. So like 40 kilometers in?
Yeah. So I got about, I guess, a marathon in. Mm-hmm. Everything was going great. I usually tend in races to do my own race. I would try to hang back. But this particular race, I was in a pack of people because there was lineups going up the mountain because it was like a kind of a skinny single track. You couldn't get by people unless you butt through. And we were scaling the mountains, going back and forth in like a zigzag kind of. And we were on a descent. And I underestimated how technical this course was. So it was rugged. Yeah. It was rocks, roots. Sometimes you had to crawl under trees or over trees. Some of the course, you could tell they went in and tried to clean some of it up. So I was running and descending down this hill with a bunch of people following me. And there was a girl in front of me that I could see was struggling. So I remember asking her, hey, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. And then as I'm asking her that, I'm pacing and 2 people are following me. Are you fine? I twist my ankle and my ankle folds sideways. And I was being so cautious of this the whole time descending. But like you're running fast because you have people following you.
Yeah.
And my pace everything was going so good. And all of a sudden I heard a pop in my ankle and I felt so sad. Like I was just like I just, when your heart sinks, I was like, all the training, all the thing. I'm like, I'm going to have to stop. And it's like you were in such a good place. I was happy, smiling. It's like instantly, it's like, no. And then one guy's like, are you okay? I'm like, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'm fine. But I know the sound of a pop like that because the year before I hurt my foot. And I remember. So anyways, I kept going and I just knew like, oh, this sucks. So I kept kind of trying not to think about it. And I kept going past an aid station, keep going. But there was like a pain there constantly and I couldn't descend. And about like 15 people started passing me. So I knew like, oh my gosh, my speed has slowed down. I started babying the foot. Like I was like, oh, I can't push it too hard or I'm going to damage.
Yeah.
So.
And was that in the nighttime or was it morning by the time
Well, it would have been, if it was 40K in, it would have still been. Yeah, it was nighttime. It was dark. When I was running down that mountain.
I think that would have been so hard, like with the ruggedness of trying routes and everything else. And I know that you have headlamps and lamps usually, but really like trying to see, being tired, like, oh my goodness. and all the people around you, like that's overwhelming.
And I think like most of my races, they've been rugged and stuff, but this was like, the more you trained in an area like this, it would have been better.
Yeah.
Like to get used to the footsteps and the sequences of like stepping and moving. It's a lot of like brain work.
But we haven't been here. We weren't here yet.
No, we weren't in the mountains yet. So.
And we were flopping around, as I say all the time, to different places before we got here. So you didn't have the opportunity to do that. So you called me and you were like, sprained my ankle. I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh no. And I was just like so concerned for you. And I didn't want you to push it to the point that then you would damage your leg.
That's true.
And not be able to run, because I know how much you love running. So I was trying to encourage you, like, love, like if you feel that you need to stop, nobody's going to be disappointed with you for the fundraiser. You can. And I just wanted to give you like the permission to take care of you. But I did say something which motivated you for the rest of the race. But that wasn't my point. I was just saying, wow, this really parallels to me, is the idea that trauma to your body, like trauma of the sprain to your body, in a healthy space, you could say, oh, I need to stop. I need to get attention. I need this. But in my mind, I thought the women can't do that. The women don't always have the opportunity to do that, especially if they're being human trafficked, to stop what they're doing and go get medical assistance or take care of their bodies. Is they just have to keep going. And I said,
and you're like, Brody, really think about that.
I wasn't trying to say finish to the end with a sprain, but I just was like, wow, that parallel, that's so intense. But that's like, what was that to you, love?
Well, all right. I just got to backtrack a bit. So when I messaged you, the sun was already up by now. And when I injured myself 40K in, I still went, I think, to about the 80-kilometer mark. I did another marathon with the sprain.
Wow.
And I slowed down tremendously. And I was in such a dark place. And I've been in super dark places before. And this has helped me being an ultra runner, because like you go into these places, you don't want to go there. You start spiraling.
You mean mentally?
Mentally. Yeah, a lot of it is mental. And I started spiraling downhill. And by what I mean is like the thoughts of quitting came into my mind and the thoughts of giving up.
Yeah.
And you could just give up. My brain started telling me, well, Deidre's not, it's okay. Like you have a sprained ankle. What are you going to do? So it's like I had every reason I could now.
Yeah.
And I was already like getting to the point at where it was becoming really hard. So your body's already looking for a way out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you can quit. But I'm like, no, I haven't quit a race. So you're going through this, and I've made multiple races and I haven't given up. It's only a sprained ankle and I'm going through this. And then I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can tape it up. Maybe I can. And then I'm thinking, my brain's like, you got to go 100 more K. You know how much that's going to damage? And now I'm like, well, is this my pride talking? I'm like, is this going to be prideful to push? And then I'm going to damage myself. So I'm processing
and you're tired trying to process.
But this is going on hours. I'm watching people fly by me and I'm like, oh, look how good that guy's race is going. Now I'm comparing. I'm like, and I'm trying to do my own race, but I can't get, like, this is not a good space being a runner, because the space you want to be in is something called the flow, where you are just moving and gliding and you're kind of one with God and everything, like a rhythm.
Yeah.
I'm not in a rhythm. Everything is enduring and suffering. I'm focusing on the pain and giving up. And so this is what's going on. And I remember I get towards a bridge where this aid station is. I was out of water and I'm like, oh my, what am I going to do? I'm so excited. I see the aid station. I slip on a bridge and I almost broke my wrist, and then I fell into a bush. And then I'm at the point where I'm just like, who cares about anything? Like now I'm slipped in it was hilarious.
Falling
Nobody
over.
saw me. Yeah. And so I'm just like, like just having pity on myself. So I pull into the aid station and I get this hardcore medic. And most paramedics, I don't think would be like this, but he's an ultra runner, I'm thinking, or he's taking care of us anyways. And I tell him my pain level, it's like about a 3. And he says, when I wake up in the morning and take a crap, my pain level is an 8. He's like, you're fine. He's like, we're going to tape you up and you're going to get back out there and finish the race. So I'm laughing. I'm like, wow. And the other girl's laughing. She looks at me and she goes, pain is temporary. And I'm like, wow, you guys are like, you don't, want me to quit.
They're intense.
So he tapes up my foot crazy tight, like a cast. He smacks me and he's like, get back out there, basically. And that's around the time I think I called you.
Okay.
So I started running, and then I was like, oh, I should call Deidre. I still had all the thoughts in my mind. Now I'm all taped up. And around this time, I also saw another runner pass me that sprained his ankle, and he was walking backwards. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, I sprained my ankle. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
so when I talked to you then, I was just thinking of the parallel and the struggle for the women in their everyday life. How did that affect you? Like, how did that motivate you?
Well, once you said that, it just got so stuck in my head that actually I will have to make a reel because I have the videos. I haven't shared them with you, but I was like, oh, I should capture this, my mind thoughts. So I started talking into my camera and I was basically expressing like, they can't quit. I have a sprained ankle, but like they're going through way more trauma right now. And I'm doing this fundraiser and I'm like, no, I have to endure. I have to go and God will keep my ankle.
Yeah.
So, and I kept thinking, I almost started crying. And then I was like, I can't meditate on this no more. It was just too traumatic. And I think that's why we give the trigger warning. I'm like, I can't think about this anymore. Like I already know, I've heard your mom's story. I've heard the things she's went through. And so I just stopped thinking about that. But that was enough where I'm like, I'm not giving up. Like I knew at that moment, I'm not quitting. I'm going to keep going. And my ankle's taped up. I was also seeing other people quit, but I was like, well, which again, I kind of reinforced, like I could quit. Others are quitting.
Yeah. It motivated you.
But it really motivated me. I guess it made my why so strong that that this race became like bigger than myself, right?
Yeah.
Like it gave me a strong like reason to finish.
To continue. You thought of the one.
Yeah, I thought of the one, and I knew like funds were coming in. Like we were like just at the end of the race, like $10,000 came in. So I was like, oh, and I knew everybody would be fine. You hurt your ankle. They're not going to be like, oh, you gave up. So like, I know I could have like, but yeah, thank you God that my ankle is fine today and I was able to finish. It's a total God thing.
But you were battling through. You decided to just battle and war through that.
Yeah, and it went on for the whole race. So in total, I think it went before I got in a good headspace, like sprained the ankle 40K. I went another almost to like 100 and something K till I got out of that headspace.
Wow.
That's how like,
wow.
And it's such crazy because the first race the month before was awesome.
So
Everything
different.
is so different. It felt like I was in that space, that good space.
Yeah.
So it was like, and there's so many, I was like, why am I doing this? I don't ever want to race again. Like you, like it's so, you're in such a bad headspace.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're, well, like the girls in recovery, they're going through all these traumatic traumas. And it's kind of like when I was in recovery for my addiction, it's like, I didn't want to continue to keep going. I want this pain to end.
Yeah.
I want this emotional state to go away.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. It's so just interesting. And I'm really proud of you.
And they taped my foot up twice. Like the tape kept getting loose. And I remember at the 100K mark, that's when you were telling me like, Brody, you have 2 more mountains and the Mont St. Dan. So I had the medics tape me up at that aid station for the last 36 kilometers. And my foot pain became so unbearable. Like it was not a level 3 pain anymore. It skyrocketed.
Whoa.
And I don't know why, well, I do know why. But the tape was so tight around my foot that it cut the circulation off to the fascia on the bottom of my foot. So every step I took became unbearable.
Wow.
And I was like, what am I going to do? I can't even hardly run. I did 5K. So then what happened was I stopped and took out my pocket knife and cut the bottom of I was like, well, this is going to take the stability away. But I was like, whatever. My foot feels like it's going to fall off. So I cut the bottom of the tape and all of the pressure relieved. It was awesome, Deidre. I got up and again, like 6 runners passed me. Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm great. Not great. So I got up and the tape was so tight around the rest of my foot that it still held the stability.
Yeah.
But the blood could come into the bottom of my foot. And this is when everything turned around.
I'm glad that you had wisdom to do that.
Yeah, usually I don't want to stop.
I also was thinking it's so intriguing to me that the one race you decide to run to advocate for this work is the one where it's so challenging and hard. And I'm thinking of the spiritual realm for you to give up, for you to stop sharing, for you, like all the things, right? Because this is a battleground. Like it's a battleground for systems and structures to actually change in our society. Like to the root of the problem is really changing the way our society thinks about this in general, thinks about women in general, thinks that it's even a pliable option to buy and sell people. Yeah, it's just a battleground in that way. And then once the women actually do come out, a battleground of their hearts and their minds.
Yeah.
That there's been so much trauma towards those areas. And I'm thinking of that, like really in reality, it's like if you only make money when you are with a client, then you are going to have to see numerous clients, especially if you are being trafficked to do so, because your trafficker wants as much money as he can get.
Yeah. So the women are having sex like 10 to 15 times a day.
Like even potentially more depending on the demand that there is there and how much the trafficker is going to use that. So yeah, just like she doesn't have an option to, like we were saying, take care of herself. And what does she need? And when
she can't just leave the trap house and be like, hey, I'm done for today. I'm just going to.
No, because money and it like the love of money, it just makes you think the love of money is the root of all evil. That money would be loved so much more
than life.
Somebody's life and somebody's well-being.
Yeah.
That's so disturbing to me.
It just shows that money isn't bad. It's the love. It's the root. And that this is a great example showing why. Mm-hmm. Like if you love money more than a person, right?
Yeah, you'll use the person to your advantage. Yeah. So I was just like thinking of that and that parallel.
Yeah, I thought about it a lot during the race, but it's hard to think about. That's the thing. Like but the people that are in this, they're in it every day. Like even me thinking about it, I wanted to cut out the meditation of it. Mm-hmm. And some people maybe don't even want to hear about this because it's such a hard, like, what can I do? How can I help?
Yeah, and I've chatted about that before in Reels and different things is like maybe right now, we can't eliminate the whole process because we can't eliminate all the demand. But what are the small things that are actually big, the small seeds that we can start investing by giving, by sharing, by letting other people hear other stories? If like my mom has spoken in so many different platforms, her story's out there, letting people hear to start to have compassion and to change the way they view things or think about things.
Even with pornography, if you're out there and you're watching pornography, like ask God to change your heart because you're helping stop the consumption.
That's true. If there isn't a demand, then.
So that's just another, there's lots of reasons for you not to watch pornography, but this is one of them.
Yeah.
You're stopping the demand. And I know you're only one person, but you're putting another.
And the way that we live, we do affect the ones around us because we'll talk about it with other people. We'll share like you and your life and the impact that you've had from the training, from the perspective shifts that you've had. You're running a race now to raise funds for this organization, but you're not just running a race. You also share about my mom's story with so many. You share about my story with so many.
I got to share about it in the race.
Yes. They're like, why are you running? And then you're sharing about why you're running. And like Brody did notice that it is a heavy topic and not everybody knows how to respond. And that's okay. Because really there aren't words that are going to fix it. Like, oh, wow. Like just think positively. Like that doesn't help in this situation, really. It's deep and it's hard, but there are people like my mom and Lisa and others who are doing the work to make a difference and to support the women. So then come and rally alongside them and support them.
And I've seen the changes. I've seen women in the process of recovery. It's awesome. Deidre and her mom and the other mentors, they mentor girls every week. They talk to them in the times of like, kind of like when I was in recovery and I had a sponsor. When somebody's going through a traumatic day or they need somebody to talk to or vent to, the women are available for that. There's so much value in that.
Yeah.
And another parallel of the race that I loved at the end was like how you guys come alongside these girls to help them. Even in the race, that happened to me, where it's like racing isn't a solo sport. There's people behind you. I have my wife. I have people that encourage me, online resources. There's running groups. I'm not part of one yet, but I want to be part of one in Quebec. My point is, it's not a solo thing. There's thousands of volunteers in these races and things like this. And
it's a running community.
Yeah. And at the end of the race, God sent me people to help me at the end. I was going up the mountain, the last two mountains, Mont Saint Anne, and my headlamp, it was getting dark, and I put my headlamp on and I was by myself. And well, it was raining. It was pretty crazy. It was an awesome start to climbing the mountain. I was so excited to get to that point. But my headlamp, it became foggy at the top of the mountain, and I became blind. I couldn't see anything. Like, it was just a pure fog and dark. So then in my mind, I'm like, I should ask some other people if I can run with them. It'd probably be better to do this at nighttime in a pack of people than do it by myself. I don't know, it sounds wise to me. And I got to the summit one, and I seen two guys sitting there. And I said, hey guys, my headlamp really sucks in the fog right now. Do you guys mind if I run behind you? And they said yes. So I got to all three of us. If you're out there, thank you so much. And you're listening to this by chance. We got to run 30 something kilometers together. It took like 6 hours and something. But those guys were awesome. Like we went across river crossings together. We did so much together, bonded in those times. I didn't talk much because I told them, I said, hey, I'm tired. I'm not going to talk much. I'm not being rude. And the cool part at the end, I thought of this, which can parallel too, is the one guy said to me, so I didn't even know to the end, but the two guys, one was a pacer for the other. And he said to me, hey, do you want to cross the finish line first? And I'm like, no, I followed you guys. But I thought about that after. How humble for him to say, like, I'm following them in their race. And he says, do you want to cross first? And that's like you guys in the women coming alongside, helping them. And you're allowing them to cross that finish line. Like, you're lifting them up and saying, hey, God has given me strength right now.
Yeah.
Help me hold you up. And not only hold you up, I want you to be healed and surpass anything I've ever done.
Yeah. Like, that we are like running the race together. I did speaking on that before, and it's in our podcast. And I use Brody as an analogy in our faith of running the race together. But it is true. It's like, even I see just leading the group together, me and my mom and Lisa lead this faith-based group for any of the women who are interested in it. It's not mandatory. They don't have to do the faith-based groups at all.
Yeah, there's different, there's
different
options.
Groups that my mom does. Moms will do boundaries groups and relationship groups, and they're open to all the women. But any of them that want to kind of learn more about faith or grow in faith or have faith, then they can join the other group that we have together. And it's so beautiful that I see how we work together as my mom and Lisa and me, and we have different giftings, and we come together for the well-being of the women, to encourage them, to support them, to cheer them on, to hear their hearts. And I love that space. And that's just so good that we get to provide that together. So yeah, Brody was saying, like, there's one-on-one mentorship that my mom and Lisa provide for the women, and they can call them and process things in life. And then there's some group settings that they provide as well. So you're talking about just like the encouragement and support that it brought, having the ones to run with at the end of your race, and just how you saw that as the women have Mom and Lisa to run with as they do this journey of life and process. Because really, we can have compassion for one another and we can have empathy, but if we haven't been through that situation, then a lot of the times the things that actually are a normal response coming out of that kind of trauma, others will be like, what is wrong with you? Why are you wanting to do this? Or why is your mind over here? Just get over it. Like, you're not in it anymore. You're safe. But it's not that easy, because their bodies have been so dysregulated and unsafe for so long that now they have to learn how to settle, how to think differently, how to budget, how to dress, like how to interact in relationships and believe that their worth isn't either just their like appearance or their body, or there's so many layers and so much to learn. And also depending like how long the woman has been a part of that, like, you know, if you come into it at a really young age and are in it for so many years. And my mom was in prostitution for 15 years. That shapes somebody's brain and heart and nervous system to now you come out and try to let God like rewire it. But having compassion along the way of like my mom talking to the women like, yeah, that makes sense. You're thinking that. I've thought that too. Or like, that's totally normal in this, but it's okay. Let's keep going. Or you feel this way, but you don't really want that.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like for 15 years, your body was being sold.
Being abused.
And being abused.
For 15 years.
And
that was your whole...
That is a long time.
Life.
And the body, not only the mind, suffers so much trauma.
And that's the thing too, is there are physical repercussions of having your body go through that kind of trauma over and over and over again. And for some of the women, there's still health problems. There's still medical problems. There's still things that are not healed yet. And that can be very discouraging and disappointing. And having triggers, things being triggers, things that potentially could seem so like simple, like why is she making a big deal out of that? But it just sets them off. Smells, sound, music, certain songs, you know, like if you come up behind someone, like different things, it's just, has entangled their whole life. And it's really a great idea for someone to think, oh no, like I can just go to work and I put on this persona and then I come back into normal life and I can be that person there. No, that's like displacing yourself. And like I said, growing up is like, I do not believe you cannot like function well that way, because my mom like would come home in our home as a kid. She wasn't doing these things out of our home. She'd go outside the home, but when she'd come, like her heart had to be so hard and so cold in order to survive it. And many of the women, which it totally makes sense to me, are using substances to numb it, because it is so much trauma to your mind and your body, your emotions, that how do you be present in that? That's so much. So Mom, of course, all the things that are going on in her heart and her mind and her body are going to flow into our home. And that's why I grew up feeling just really emotionally neglected. Like I was always confused. I was like, we always had a place to stay and we always had food, and, you know, like my upbringing wasn't that bad, right? Like it was what was familiar to me, but the lack of emotional like attunement and even teaching me emotional regulation, she couldn't, because she didn't have it for herself. She had to shut things off in herself in order to do what she did. And that's just really sad. And that's what I was sharing at the gala too, is that this doesn't just affect just the woman, especially if she has children. It affects the children, because their mom is such an important part of their life, and they're watching their mom to learn, how do I be a woman, or how do I grow up, or what's important. And
you guys mentor women that have children.
Yeah, some of the women do have children. Yeah. So whether or not maybe the mom is saying something out loud, children are watching and they pick things up. Like I picked up from my mom, whether or not she said it out loud, I don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember a lot of my childhood, is that my worth was in my appearance. And I was only worth sex to men. That's what I learned from her. And really, over the years of really paying attention to my heart and journaling and hearing from God and taking counseling, I learned also that men are bad.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. It totally does make sense. Being like used and abused constantly, you're like, this is bad. So men are bad, a whole. And thankfully, God has brought healing in my life. And then I'm just so thankful that then here we are, Brody. Like me and you married, like we're working on our marriage. No perfect marriage, but healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that I get to see you rise up as a man with just boldness and integrity and a man of God to battle it out and to put your body through just pain and be determined in the midst of that, fighting. Like, I was so emotional when I made some of the reels. I was like, oh my goodness, because I just saw your fight and your fierceness of you really just caught it and were like, I am running for the one, but the run is many of them. Like, it's not just one, it's many of them. It's going to have impact, and I refuse to give up. And just as like a woman, like how many of us desire that person to come in our life with that fierceness and, you know, come and be like, I'm going to fight with you. I'm going to fight for you. Like, let's go forward. And then if I think on the other side of that, that's what like mom is doing. She's fighting.
And that's what you, and this is like, to me, what your mom does is like, yes, I'm passionate. I love ultra running and it's a great part of my life. But like what your mom does is surpasses it, because this is like eternal impact.
Yeah.
This is like an infantry soldier in the front lines, like changing lives, saving lives, like physically saving lives.
Yeah.
And your mom putting her story out there, like going on the news, going on all of these things, talking and being so vulnerable after that amount of trauma. It's hard to share your story.
Yes.
Because your abusers tried to get you to not do that.
To be silent.
And that's why a lot of people get away with this stuff.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to go and talk about this. And there's so much shame. There's so much
fear.
You can imagine. But that's why your mom and you and all the girls and the girls coming, they're just incredible people standing up, sharing, being light in a world that has so much darkness, that doesn't want you to talk about such things.
Yeah. Yes. And this kind of, I don't know what to call it, but field or work is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard. It is not easy sitting with people, hearing their deep traumatic stories, being alongside them in the midst of them having like,
yeah, there's many times your mom wants to quit. Like it's hard because the work is hard. Like emotionally, she's went through so much trauma, and sometimes that puts her through more. Hearing the stories can be hard for her, like sharing her story, right? Can be re-traumatizing at times. Like her reliving all of this over and over and over again.
Yes.
Like, that's hard.
It is hard work. So in it being hard work, and maybe even not work, that some of you are like, I wouldn't want to do that. That's fine. We're all made to do different things, but what you can do is you can support the work that they're doing, and you can share that this is a real thing. And there are women out there who have been deeply wounded and traumatized and abused from this, and they need our support as well, so that we can run alongside and just let the ones that will hold their hands and go with them and roar over them and rally for them do that. And we just come alongside and say, you know what, I see the good work you're doing, and I'm just going to support you in that.
I think that's a good first step. Like, somebody messaged me today, well, what do you want me to share? I'm like, well, go watch the stories, listen to the testimonies, check out the Rising Angels page, go on their Instagram, their YouTube, and then make a 1-minute video and share the fundraising page. Mm-hmm. That is doing something. You're allowing others to see and hear, and you're being part of bringing light into this.
You're a piece of the puzzle, and it's important. And
it doesn't have to be a huge donation. Give $5.
You give and do what you can, right? And just
give from the joy of your heart.
That's true. On our website, my testimony video is up there, just my testimony of like, how did I encounter God? But then a lot of that, I talk about my mom and praying for her. So if you haven't watched that, you can watch that too. And we also have another podcast, if you check it out, where me and Mom and Brody chatted together, if you haven't seen that one. And if you guys didn't know, like a big part of my story is that my mom was in prostitution for 15 years. That did have an impact and effect on me. And I encountered trauma through that. But then once I came to know God and his love, I prayed for my mom for 8 years and just prayed for her to be set free from that sexual exploitation. And God's plan is so much more beautiful and so much bigger. He didn't just bring her out, but now she has Rising Angels, the organization that is helping other women and calling the other ones out as well, and to just support them in that process of being out and how to regain their life back. So I just think that's so amazing. Are there any other thoughts or things you want to share, Brody, before we go about the race and the challenge of it? Is there anything else you'd want to share?
Not so much about the race. The race is over. See, you get to endure, and then you cross that finish line. You're like, ah.
You did it.
Yeah, it's like, it's so amazing that you can go through such trial and tribulation and all of these obstacles, and then you cross the line. You're like, hey, I'm done. But you don't get to do that always in life, as we talked about.
So the other thing that came to mind about the race is we're watching you on the tracker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like late. It's getting late. I was like, okay, I wonder like what time he's going to finish around, like probably really early morning. So I was like, I'm going to try to sleep and wait for him to call me when he's done the race.
Yeah, I thought I was going to finish, like the other race was 21 hours and something. I thought I was going to finish within 24 hours. Nope. It went a lot longer.
But then I got a message from your mom and she noticed that the tracker stopped.
Yeah, the GPS stopped. From my calculations, it looks like when I put on my headlamp in the Mont Saint Anne, it died. Or somehow it died.
We had no idea what was going on. All we saw was like you hadn't been tracked for 2 hours and it looked like you were up on the mountain just staying there. So it's like, I don't know, 2 a.m. for me. I'm tired. My brain's not like, so then I start to kind of panic of like, did he just like decide like he can't do it anymore? Is he hurt in like the forest somewhere and they don't know where he is and they can't track him or find him? Is he dead? Like I literally had the worst thoughts and was like just praying and like messaged others to pray. Like the tracker stopped. I don't know where Brody is. I haven't heard from him. I tried to call you a bunch of times and your phone was off too, which was really scary.
It was off.
But even like in that part is, I think of times in my life where I was really scared for mom, like praying for her, wanting her to be free from this. So scared, like the addiction part, like scared of the addiction overtaking her and her like overdosing or anything like that. Scared of like suicide for her.
Yeah, you wanted the best for her. Well, God made you the number one like fighter for her in your like you word for your mom, basically.
Well, I love her, right? Yeah. So,
but I've seen it, like you, yeah.
Or others in my life, other women that I love and care for in addiction or in prostitution, and the same thing is like there are sometimes seasons or moments where you don't hear from them, or it seems like they've gone off, like their tracker's been lost, and then the worst thoughts can come into your head: Are they okay? Are they dead? Like, am I going to get a call? Like, it's such a dangerous thing to be in it. And then in the midst of it, you're in it not even sober-minded, and so many horrific things can happen. So as a loved one on the other side of it, you're just sometimes watching in that panic of, are they okay? Am I going to hear from them? Are they going to message me? Are they going to text me?
So my tracker going off was triggering for you and my mom.
It didn't, like, I didn't parallel it at the time, but I'm thinking of it now. But it's because I loved you and I didn't want you to be dead in a ditch somewhere. And I'm like, ah.
So I got done the race and then I was like, oh, I should call. And I'm like, well, it's 3 a.m. and I don't think they're going to be up. I turn on my phone. I'm walking to my van. I call and Deidre picks up.
Hi, girl, alive.
And she's like, and I'm like, what's going on? Went, yeah, of course. I finished. And she's like, your tracker, it wasn't working. And oh, should I call your mom? Should we 3-way call? I'm like, she's up. I'm like, it's literally like 3:30 in the morning.
We were all waiting to see because we knew that you had an injured foot and like it had been so hard and we were cheering you on.
And I was at the point, I guess I just, I wasn't even thinking about anything. I was just so tired.
Well, you were trying to just finish the race and you didn't know that your tracker went off.
No, I thought that thing just stays on and goes. And...
You're like, why is everybody like panicking? You're like, oh my goodness, you're alive. Which, so thankful you're alive and back home.
Yeah, you sounded so awake.
Yeah. Well, I literally panicked for an hour from like 2 to 3. Like when you called me, I was high adrenaline and just praying and then processing. I just moved. What happens if I have no husband and he's dead? Like literally, I'm not even kidding. It was a lot. That being said, I'm really thankful that you did it. I'm really thankful just how you've been a voice and you've been just rallying for this and encouraging others to come alongside Rising Angels. How even like in our relationship, how you love my mom and that you are just a fierce and kind man and have been rewriting the story to me about men. So I am thankful for you, Brody.
Thank you so much, Deidre.
Thank you. So we are so excited to see, I kept saying 30,000 or even above. Let's just bless this organization, bless their socks off and see them continue.
And I kept saying, this is God's heart.
Yeah.
God wants to see the women with mentors.
The one.
This is, the one. This is God's heart. God doesn't want people to be human trafficked, to be used and abused and sold. And this is
for us to be whole.
For us to be whole. This is God's heart.
Yeah.
And we're partnering with God's heart, with these women. So I keep saying it's like, yes, provision helps, but it's far greater than the provision. This is God's heart.
Lasting impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. So it's amazing that you did the race. Such a crazy epic race. And it's amazing that we're just going to keep going and we're going to keep sharing. And we're excited to just continue to see women set free.
Yeah. And we are going to be doing next year, we're praying on it, another running for the one.
You have a creative idea and we'll see.
I have a creative idea, but it's a 200-mile race. So Deidre's like looking at me right now. Pray us out, Deidre.
Sure. God, I thank you so much for today and just all the people that have listened. And Lord, I pray that whatever you are stirring in their hearts, may they bring it to you and may you give them the creative ideas and just the outpouring of the things that you have been stirring. God, I pray that whatever stirring from you would actually not be distracted away or silenced, but they'd step into the things that you have for them. God, and I do pray that we would continue to just see more women set free in your name, Jesus. More children set free in your name, Jesus. And I just thank you for your goodness, God. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, guys, for listening to this podcast. I will post the Running for the One site. Click donation. It will take you to the Canada Helps page. And then you just click Running for the One. We are almost at the $15,000 mark. We have 18 days to make it to 30,000. Even if you can make a small donation, it goes towards the total goal. And if not, just pray for us and share about Rising Angels. Even that helps get the organization out there so others can hear. We will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.